Yes. The Child-ization project. Um, my fault. My fault. The Child-ization process, right? Um, is something that the Netanyahu has been suffering from the last 100 years, or a little more than that. Um, you could say it comes from slavery. Um, you know, the Gentile system. It changes every half a century. Um, you know, um, keeping the Netanyahu at a childlike mentality is good for control, right? They're easily to sway. They're easily distracted. They're easily to manipulate. Um, it's a lot easier to mold their brains. Um, you know, they're so dominated by their emotions and their sensations. They can't operate properly. Right? They can't think logically. They can't, communicate. They can't be critical. They only know they only know sensation and pleasure. Right? They don't know about independence and maturity and sacrifice. They only know about pleasure and gratification. Right? In the early stages of the system, Netanyahu was considered an object, right? A form of labor, you know. Somewhere after that, he became like a resource. The Gentile, he knew the value of the Netanyahu. Right? He found out the special properties that they have. Right? A little later down the timeline, the Netanyahu will be considered an animal. And further down the timeline, the Netanyahu will be considered a child, right? Or subhuman. The Netanyahu is considered subhuman. Then the Netanyahu was considered a child, right? One of the future goals of the system is to make the Netanyahu 100% effeminate, female, neutered, incapable of reproduction. But as of this generation, the Netanyahu is considered a child, right? Very easily to anger, very easily to manipulate. Very easy for Gentile humans to use kindness and pull heartstrings to sway the mind of the Netanyahu. Yes, even though that Netanyahu is deemed as a child, the Gentile human understands that the Netanyahu can destroy everything in an instant. He understands the power that's instilled in that divine being. That's why in a lot of pseudo esoteric teachings, the goat is considered a child. The goat is one of the main references to our ancestors as geniuses. It's been about 100 years, since they turned us into children. But we're we're leaving that state. They want to visit the females. That's the next goal. That's one of their recent goals that they want to reach, but it's not going to happen. One of the main reasons why a child is so easily manipulated and controlled is that, they only desire, cookies and ice cream. Right? They don't want greens. They don't want spinach. They want sensation. They want pleasure. Right? Arrested development is normal in the black community. Right? The Western world is the only place where you will see a 40-year-old, laughing and hanging out with a 19-year-old, having the same conversation. Right? We don't. We mentally remain in a high school, immature, hypersexual mentality for most of our lives. The system cannot allow us to be adults. The system cannot allow us to be adults, right? Because adults think. They sacrifice. They're selfless. They're more dedicated and devoted, right? They're not easily swayed by temptations. Very, head straight, focused. The child, a child thinks short term. A child thinks very superficial. Very, but we things get even worse when you bring in religion, right? It's 10 times easier to put a child to sleep than it is to put an adult into a sleep state. They know that, humans know that.